Hello YouTube, I'm Riley Wadden, and Season 10 of Doctor Who just finished this past Saturday. I've been watching Doctor Who since December 25th, 2013, Christmas Day. I hadn't heard of it before then, but the promotion for Matt Smith's final episode, The Time of the Doctor, got to me and I was interested. So I started watching New Who on Netflix that had from Chris Eccleston all the way to Season 6. I binged so much Doctor Who I didn't go outside for a week. Now I've never watched a single episode of Classic Who, but I do respect it for giving me the revival show. Have you ever been asked the question if you could do something for the first time again? What would it be? Doctor Who is always my answer. I wish I could rewatch the show without knowing all the twists and turns because it's so amazing and I love it. I also have this shirt, this picture of me and Matt Smith, this sonic spoon, a Lego Doctor Who set that comes with this TARDIS. I also made a Doctor Who fan account on Instagram a couple years ago. And lastly, the sonic screwdriver. So now that you know how I feel about Doctor Who, I'm going to be talking about every episode this season, and then review the season as a whole. I'm not going to be recapping whole episodes, just talking about the highlight moments I found in each episode. So spoiler alert for Season 10 of Doctor Who, if you haven't finished it yet, come back once you have, or watch up until the episode you're on. Starting with episode 1 called The Pilot. It was a good premiere. Not great, but good. I think this episode is supposed to fill in the gap of Doctor Who we didn't have for a year, since the episode is spanning over many months as the seasons change. It was filled with tons of references like the sonic screwdrivers and pictures of the ones the Doctor loves most on his desk. The episode was mostly to introduce us to the new companion Bill, and it did a good job at that. We learned about how she smiles when she doesn't understand something, and how her mother died when she was very young. She doesn't want to feel alone, and that's what drives the emotional aspect of this episode when she has to say goodbye to Heather. Her reaction to the TARDIS was great because she absolutely believes that the Doctor is dull and is the least sci-fi person she's ever met. So to find out that he's practically the original was so great. The monster of this episode was alright, but it didn't seem that original. How many times is Doctor Who gonna try and scare us using the sounds of dripping water? Don't get me wrong. I've been terrified ever since the David Tennant episode called The Waters of Mars. It's just that the water and mimicking elements of this character are things we've already seen in past seasons. I also liked how when the Doctor's lecturing the students in the class, he says time and relative dimension and space. That means life. And after the adventure Bill was just on, she wants to keep her memories of this grand universe she was just introduced to, so she asked the Doctor how he would feel if his memories were taken away. Which leads to the Doctor telling Bill that time and relative dimension and space really means, what the hell? It was cool because at the beginning of the episode, both Bill and the Doctor were trapped in boring lives. She was stuck serving chips, and the Doctor was stuck guarding the vault. So by the end of the episode, the Doctor realizes that even though he's lost so much by doing so, life should still be lived to the fullest. And so the 10th season begins. Up next is episode 2 called Smile. I love the mystery setting episodes of Doctor Who. Every episode of Doctor Who's a mystery, but I love the episodes where he arrives somewhere and we just have to discover what's going on. There were so many good lines that made me laugh throughout the entire episode. I can't believe the language that has survived thousands of years is emoji. Who knew emojis could be so cute and terrifying? The Vardy interface did remind me of the handbots from Season 6's The Girl Who Waited. Do not be alarmed. This is a kindness. So it was good that they had an extra layer, which was the flying robots that made up the entire city's structure. We find out that Earth was evacuated after something terrible that happened, and that this colony is the human race's last hope. Without spoiling it for people who aren't there yet, I wonder if that horrible thing that happened on Earth is supposed to foreshadow episode 7. Very cool idea how the Vardy were trying to keep everybody happy, so when someone died naturally, they tried to fix the problem by basically forcing everybody to be happy or die. I didn't know why the Doctor kept mentioning a magic haddock throughout the episode, but just like Doctor Who does perfectly, by the end of the episode, it all made sense. Next is episode 3 called Thin Ice. This was my least favorite episode of season 10. The giant fish that took up an entire mile of the Thames was cool. I love how the Doctor thinks that the thief kids will only eat stolen food, so he ends up saying, I know what you're thinking, but don't worry. These are stolen. Using the fish's poop as fuel was different. I just wish we were given more of an explanation, and we never even figure out how the fish got there in the first place, or how Lord Sutcliffe's ancestors knew about it and were able to chain it up. Also great when the Doctor punches Lord Sutcliffe in the face after making a racist remark to Bill. Next is episode 4 called Knock Knock. It was way more low-key and less world-ending, so it felt like a personal episode. Bill's roommates know the Doctor from the university, and everyone seems to act as if they really like him and they think he's a cool guy. Which is funny because Bill's relationship with him is exactly what she says this episode. He's my granddad. And the Doctor gets offended by that. Once again this season we see insects that become part of the wall, so that wasn't new. But the landlord mother-daughter twist, I had no idea was coming, so my mind was blown. She was really creepy though when she creeped around that corner with the smile. And then she murders her son. He's crying out, I don't want to go. And then she just murders him. Next is episode 5, called Oxygen. I find that Doctor Who is a lot like Black Mirror. What I mean by that is they always have a really cool or unique idea. I can't believe the people were paying for oxygen from this corporation. And then to find out that because they weren't working as hard, the company decides to kill them, preserve the oxygen, send a replacement team, and then do it all over again. As soon as that woman from the beginning mentioned wanting to have a baby, I was like, oh, you're so dead. Not because we needed a cliffhanger before we got the... but because she expressed a hope. Me and my dad always mention that when we're watching a show. Oh, they expressed a hope? They're so dead. And then they end up dying. Nardole is finally relevant. This is 5 episodes in, and he's finally getting to do something. That was such an intense scene when Bill gets sucked into the vacuum of space. And now the Doctor's blind. That was cool because although the Doctor can't necessarily die, he just regenerates. It was nice to see that something he did actually affected his body. Next is episode 6, called Extremis. As much as I enjoyed this episode, there isn't really much to say because it's the first part of a 3-parter. I don't think Doctor Who has ever done a 3-parter. I'm glad the Veritas wasn't just some book that forced you to die like a curse or something. When we find out that the people are killing themselves because they realize they're in a simulation, I was actually quite sad for them. And Nardole figured it out himself. I just couldn't imagine what that would feel like. We also get more Missy, which is always good, and a nice reference to River Song, which in the end actually saves the world when the Doctor remembers Missy sang it before her death. I am a bit confused of how the fake Sonic Shades sent an email to the real ones for the Doctor to watch. I'm guessing because the simulation is alien tech and the tech is real, that the Doctor was able to hijack that real tech and send it to the Doctor. Next is episode 7 called The Pyramid at the End of the World. This episode was filled with great lines and scenes. It's crazy how just one decimal could end the world. I think that the possible future that the Doctor sees in the pyramid is why Smile, episode 2, ever happens. Does that mean that episode 2 is wiped from history? It's not confirmed, but it's a nice theory. The Doctor is such a genius. I love how to locate the Doomsday Trigger, he turns off all the cameras in the labs in the world, and then waits to find out which one gets turned back on. Sadly, Bill gives consent to the monks to save the Doctor, and now, the Doctor's not blind. Next is episode 8 called The Lie of the Land. This is the conclusion to a great 3-parter. The monks have changed history to fit themselves in as the heroes of Earth. I thought it was pretty funny when they name all the stuff that the monks have stopped in the past. They said the Daleks, the Cybermen, the Weeping Angels. It's as if the monks are jealous of the Doctor, and they're trying to take his place as the protector of Earth. I wonder why some people could figure out that the monks had only been there for a couple months, while others truly believed that they were there throughout all of history. I understood why the Doctor had to test Bill, but how is the Doctor able to fake a regeneration? And Bill's memories of her mom from the photos that the Doctor gave her in the first episode are the reason that they're able to stop the monks, and that's just a great full circle. Next is episode 9 called Empress of Mars. I don't think we've ever seen an Ice Warrior Queen, so that was cool. I do wonder why the TARDIS just randomly left Mars. Maybe the TARDIS wanted Missy to get involved. Anyways, the Ice Warriors are always awesome. They never move or act as fast as they are talked about in Doctor Who, but I guess that's just because of effect budgets. By the end of the episode, the Doctor helps the Ice Warriors get in contact with the rest of the universe, so they're not alone anymore, which is really cool. My biggest problem with the episode is the spacesuit that the soldiers made. How does that even work? Next is episode 10, called The Eaters of Light. I really like this episode. I thought that the monster was one of the most unique this season. The gate was also cool, how time was slower in there than it was outside, which is actually something we see in next episode. I can't believe the Doctor was in there for a minute, and when he comes out, Nardole has already joined the Scottish after 2 days. We also learn that the reason that crows caw is because they're chanting and celebrating the name of the woman that's guarding the gate. Also, that popcorn trick to escape, that was just great. Next is episode 11, called World Enough and Time. This is the first of the 2-parter finale. I love the idea of having a ship heading towards a black hole. It's so big that 10 minutes at the top of the ship is actually 10 years at the bottom of the ship. Bill ends up getting shot straight through the chest and sent to the bottom of the ship. Long story short, she's there for quite a while. And surprise, John Sim, the master from David Tennant's seasons, is back. He turns Bill into a Cyberman and then calls it the genesis of the Cybermen, which I think is a famous Doctor Who story. This was just an awesome episode that was super intense. The final one, episode 12, is called The Doctor Falls. This is my favorite episode of the season. Doctor Who just knows how to do a great finale. Bill is coming to terms with being a Cyberman, which was extremely sad to see. Last time we saw something like this was in season 8, with Danny Pink, and that was an epic season finale as well. This episode was a lot of goodbyes. Nardole, not being able to find the words, has to now protect those people for the rest of their lives against the inevitable attack that will one day come. Both masters end up killing each other, but I don't buy that Missy's really dead. She tried to redeem herself, and I think she will redeem herself in the Christmas special. It was also cool to see the Cybermen quickly evolving, so we see Cybermen from all the different eras of Doctor Who. The Doctor ends up sacrificing his life to blow up as many Cybermen as possible, and the saddest part is that while he's knocked out, he doesn't get to say goodbye to Bill. Bill ends up getting taken by Heather, the monster we saw from the first episode, and now they're going to travel through the universe together as ghosts, I guess. The best part is that Bill will now never be alone. She's feared it ever since her mom passed away when she was young, and she was left alone through many parts of the season. That's finally over now. Bill can finally be with someone and rest. We then get a clip of all the past companions saying the Doctor's name, and then he wakes up and he starts speaking famous quotes from other Doctors. His hands start to glow, and he's more angry than ever about regenerating, and he says that he doesn't want to change anymore. He hates changing. One thing that PCAP's Doctor has brought up a lot is how being scared is important and good for you. It can be a superpower that keeps you rational, and I wonder how that's going to affect the Christmas special and his final farewell. If I had to rank the episodes from best to least favorite, I would have to say number 1, The Doctor Falls, number 2, World Enough and Time, number 3, The Pilot, number 4, Smile, number 5, Oxygen, number 6, The Eaters of Light, number 7, Extremis, number 8, The Lie of the Land, number 9, The Pyramid at the End of the World, number 10, Knock Knock, number 11, Empress of Mars, and number 12, Thin Ice. My review of the season overall is that season 10 shows us that Doctor Who is not going away anytime soon. Most shows by the time they get to season 10 are very dull, but Doctor Who never stops being creative. It makes a lot of new ideas and brings back a few old ones. It's a great mix of comedic elements and serious topics that makes you emotionally care about the characters by the time you get to the ending and you have to say goodbye to basically the entire cast. It makes me wish that Peter Capaldi, or as me and my dad call him, PCAP, wasn't leaving at Christmas. He brings so much depth and heart to this character, and I know I'll never forget his time as the Doctor. Now thinking towards the future, I can't wait for this Christmas. PCAP meeting the first Doctor at the time that they're both going to be regenerating is just perfect. Hopefully they'll both help each other get over this hurdle, and I know I'm probably going to cry. The show will be getting new everything, so I can't wait to see how season 11 looks and feels. But before that, they have to cast a new Doctor, and from the rumors that I've heard, I hope that they either cast Hayley Atwell or Natalie Dormer. Or shock everyone and pick an unknown actor that no one will recognize. I know either way I'll be okay with who they pick, so just hurry up and be Christmas now. Thank you for watching my review. If you agree or disagree with me, let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe, and until next time, peace.